So on everybody top, thank you my champions for coming back to watch another one of my videos. Thank you for whoever's listening right now. Please leave a comment, let me know who you are. And let's get straight into the video. We're not going to waste any time. I don't want to poo-poo on Dragon Ball Super too bad, but let's just go over what went wrong so that we have a better product moving forward, right? It's all about constructive criticism so that we can improve the product that we're getting. As fans, we need to hold, right, these people who are making content for us accountable, because if we accept another transformation, if we accept another villain who can blink and destroy half the galaxy, they're going to keep writing poor material for us to experience, and we're going to keep getting a lackluster product. We can't keep getting wowed by a new hair color. We can't keep getting wowed by just ridiculously OP villains with really terrible motivations and background story, right? We have to do better and not accept garbage, right? Not just get wild with the easiness, right? Not just get wild with a bunch of explosions, which is really cool, but not just get wild so easily. And let's get into it. So number one, we're going to start with, and we're going to make a first part, second part, third part, whatever, of all the sagas. But number one, we're going to start with Battle of the Gods and Resurrection F. What went wrong? Now, these two movies in particular, to begin Dragon Ball Super, weren't necessarily bad. They were actually really enjoyable. They had like their own atmosphere about them. They had great editing. They had a nice sense of like refreshing lore to go back into and getting deep into some other things and other concepts, which was good to hear. So that's what they did great. But then let's see where we went wrong, because it turned out to be a bigger issue than what it was, right? Because necessarily in these two movies, or this part of the sagas, these problems weren't necessarily like bad almost. You know, they were like, oh, okay, that could be dangerous. But then as we see in hindsight, they turned out to be the groundworks for problems leading forward that they doubled down on. For number one, the instant nerf of Super Saiyan 3. If we just kind of completely abandoned the Super Saiyan transformations altogether, that would have been okay. But because they're still kind of dangling around there, it made Super Saiyan 3 just stick out like a sore thumb. Because when Beerus first came onto the scene and he slapped Goku around in Super Saiyan 3, that was a nice introduction. So hey, there's a level between gods and whatever the hell you think you are. But then, as we get around to progressing the story moving forward in the future, we realized we didn't get that much of Super Saiyan 3. It was kind of a saved transformation at the end of Dragon Ball, right? At the end of Dragon Ball Z, it was a saved transformation. It was kind of safeguarded, right? As like, this is really strong. It's just an energy drainer, so it has a drawback. So we thought Super Saiyan 3 was going to be the Kingdom Come, the take all transformation in the next Dragon Ball saga, you know, the perfected version of it. Like we had the Master Super Saiyan and Master even Super Saiyan God, for a transformation that looks really cool and is really iconic. It was kind of like discarded, like its shelf life was very short-lived, and it was sad because it has so much potential, and the fact that you had a huge thing you could do with it, with waiting for Vegeta to finally turn Super Saiyan 3, right? That was supposed to be a huge thing that they now throw in Daima, but it's like, which I haven't watched Daima, I'm not really interested. That should have been a more huge moment, like Captain America picking up freaking Mjolnir, or Thanos snapping. That should have been an iconic moment of Vegeta transforming into Super Saiyan 3 with a proper story before all the God stuff took place, right? But it was kind of a wasted moment to have an old crap moment, a holy crap moment. It was kind of a wasted thing. Number two, they dropped the lore of why Beerus woke up. The guy woke up wanting to find the Super Saiyan God, and we're learning, like, well, Goku is not that guy, right? Vegeta's not that guy. So who is the guy that he had this vision or dream about, that he wanted to wake up and thought was a formidable person? We could have had a whole search arc on that, and more background lore and uncovering different things of the same heritage and culture that we really kind of wasted. Now we just kind of this background guy, and It was just something to kind of put together, to have a reason to put together a ritual to begin with. But it was a wasted opportunity to have a good lore, a good search quest, more deeper meanings into things, and put things into perspective, and to get into some interesting things. But they kind of just dropped it, the whole lore and of a Super Saiyan God, and what the background story was, and a chance to really make a character shine out of nowhere, right? That you never knew you would have probably liked had they, but they never got into it. You never knew future Gohan would have been a likable character if they didn't have the whole timeline character thing, and him being the only one left and being the hero. And you never knew you would have liked future Gohan as the best version of Gohan more than Super Saiyan 2 Cell Gohan, or whatever Gohan you like, Master, Ultimate, or Ultimate Gohan. Future Gohan was everybody's favorite out of all those great versions of Gohan, but you never would have knew that you didn't know what you didn't know had they not dabbed into it and created that story and created that growth and created that likableness. You never knew you could have had another favorite person of Dragon Ball that's just never manifested. Number 3 being, they did nothing with Beerus ordering Planet Vegeta to be destroyed. You dip into this, and you did nothing with it. In hindsight, you did nothing with it. That would have been a great reveal once upon a time. A super huge reveal once upon a time to lead to a super huge arc. A super arc now that you can finally have a reason to cater something to Vegeta and give Vegeta an actual arc to actually be the main character on, which he is a very liked and loved character, which it would be a refreshing take that Goku is not the main face. At least in a saga or two, you know what I mean? This could really get into more Saiyan lore, and then more conflict of interest, and you can trickle that down, and that be a huge reveal, and then you don't know how this play out. You can do multiple sagas where Vegeta knows, and it's a subplot of him planning in the background, and it's a huge build up into an ultimate moment in Dragon Ball, when you never know when it might manifest. But you did nothing with that. In fact, you threw it away. Why create such a huge plot and do nothing with it? It just shows these Dragon Ball writers, they're just going, Akira Toriyama at the time, he's just going on a whim. He really has no plans. He's just writing things just to write things in the moment, and never really to manifest any story. Number 4, Frieza got way too strong, way too quick, and it was a foreshadow of a broken power scale to come. Now the thing is, we kind of sat back and said, okay, Frieza was born kind of like second or third strongest in the universe, besides Beerus and Majin Buu. Of course, I guess we can't count Whis. Without even having to train, he was kind of born that way. So imagine if he did take a minute to train. He probably could get that strong. God level strong, insane. Even if you did write a downfall of, he kind of rushed over and didn't really learn this new form, that was kind of crazy that he was able to eclipse a Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan at that moment, and in 4 months, which is crazy. And it was like, all right, let's just swallow that for the meantime. Pause this golden Frieza form. Let's just take that on the chin in the meantime. Now we really don't even know what that'll mean if the guy decides to train a year, which they didn't even get into. He kind of just trained for a few minutes, took golden Frieza, and whoop-de-doo, here he is. Even so, why not keep training just for a few more weeks or a month and see what you can do and really become the king of everything, since that's what you want, right? But they didn't do anything with it. It was just a way to quickly catch Frieza up, to where Goku and Vegeta are, to be able to take part in their storylines so he can be strong enough. And we've seen them do that several times. It turned out to be a thing that they were going to do. It wasn't just for Frieza, with 17 and just any of the other characters. We have way too many examples. I don't want to get into it now because we're on this saga of just characters being able to keep up with other people that they just shouldn't be able to do at all. And it just really just kind of broke the power scaling of Dragon Ball Super, which Dragon Ball was kind of built on power scaling. Plus, it's just unenjoyable to watch when you see a grasshopper fighting, a fighter jet. It's just out of place. That's how sometimes the power scaling should be but for some reason, I guess a grasshopper can keep up with a fighter jet. It can't keep up with a tank, and that's just the level of power scaling that has been broken in Dragon Ball Super. It just kind of makes it unenjoyable because it just kind of diminishes a transformation. It diminishes the characters. It diminishes their journey. It diminishes their fighting ability. When other characters are able to just keep up so quickly with some of our beloved characters that we had to see go through a journey to get this strong. So it was really disappointing in that matter. And it was epic foreshadowing that we didn't know at the time of broken power scaling. And also, just one last point, you did not have to call the Saiyan God transformation Super Saiyan God, because it makes no sense. Because if anybody reads what Super Saiyan God and what Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan is, which is Super Saiyan Red, Super Saiyan Blue, God is described as, a Saiyan becoming a god. And Super Saiyan Blue is described as Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan because it's mixing Super Saiyan power with Super Saiyan God Ki, unlocking Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan, which makes no sense still because Super Saiyan Red is Super Saiyan God. It literally has the name Super Saiyan God already in there. Right? But then saying that he could turn Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan is ridiculous. Just call Super Saiyan Red Saiyan God form. You don't need to call it Super Saiyan God, just call it Saiyan God. And then Blue is Super Saiyan God, which is a mixture of the key. So it just made no sense. Obviously, they probably wish they can go back on that one. But then it also doesn't make any sense that the only way to get God Ki was the ritual, but then you retcon your own thing by allowing Vegeta to obtain God Ki from training with Whis. I guess he's just absorbing that mythical key and, the techniques. And so it's ridiculous. I mean, it's just, I'm okay with more than one way to skin a cat and get to a transformation. But that is just absolutely ridiculous. Like, it made sense that Saiyans have to go through something traumatic to become a Super Saiyan. And if there were a Super Saiyan by the time they had their kids, I would accept the reason that, it makes their kids turn Super Saiyan a lot easier. If their dad was a Super Saiyan, it's already in them, already been unlocked. I accept that. That's okay. That's a reasonable thing to say and accept. But the Vegeta just training with Whis and obtaining the God Ki, not having to go through the ritual. Now you kill the ritual. You also killed, so Super was able to do a couple things. It killed Super Saiyan 3 instantly. It killed Super Saiyan God instantly, and it killed the myth of the ritual instantly. It just killed off a lot of things. Just so much potential wasted. And the thing is, you can waste potential like that if you replace with said quality, but then you didn't replace it with anything. You kind of just ended up diminishing Blue right away as well, with what you diminished those with because you put in Ultra Instinct. Anyway. Thank you, my friends. We'll see you in another video. I'll be more consistent.